Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Join us as we dive into the world of Disastrous Necromancer, where we'll unravel the mysteries of Lin Moyu's quest to become the strongest. From hidden secrets to epic battles, we're here to give you an exclusive look at the story before anyone else. If you're a fan of fantasy, necromancers, or just love a good adventure, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, comment, and share to support the channel, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a chapter. Let's start the journey.
People surged towards the Dao field again, with some entering and others being thrown out. Those who were thrown out left in shame, having no face to stay. Those who could enter relied not on their cultivation but on their soul strength. Thus, some at the third stage of the God King realm entered, while some at the fifth stage were eliminated. Sometimes, the soul realm and the cultivation realm do not match. Lin Moyu could understand the Lin family's approach. A high soul realm often indicates a solid foundation, strong roots, and excellent aptitude. Moreover, the higher the soul realm, the fewer bottlenecks one encounters. Just like Lin Moyu, whose soul realm far exceeded his cultivation realm, he had encountered no bottlenecks along the way. Lin Moyu moved forward with the crowd, observing as he went. He noticed that those blocked by the Dao field's gate had pitifully weak souls, barely reaching the third grade realm. As long as one advanced a bit in the third grade realm, not needing much, and kept pace with their cultivation realm to reach the third stage of the God King realm, it would be enough to enter. Those who were thrown out had no future prospects. The Lin family is not only protecting them but also screening and eliminating the weak. Although the competition in the Divine City seems not intense, it exists everywhere. Such people have already been eliminated. They might remain at this level for their entire lives. The Lin family used their method to show the harsh reality of the world to everyone. Lin Moyu followed the crowd to the gate of the Dao field. A thin layer of mist surrounded the gate. He smiled slightly and walked in. Inside the Dao field, there was also a faint mist drifting around. The entire Dao field was circular, with rows of steps surrounding it. The further out the seats, the higher they were and the farther from the center. At the center was a jade platform with a diameter of only 10 meters. Currently, it was empty, as the Bloodkilling God Sovereign had not yet arrived. Many people had already taken their seats, and many more were moving towards the center, but they were soon blocked, as if hitting an invisible wall, and retreated with muffled grunts. Some, unwilling to give up, burst out with astonishing auras, trying to force their way through. But it was useless. They still couldn't succeed. The formation distinguished based on soul realm, not cultivation realm. 10 meters from the central jade platform were some meditation cushions. This was the closest place to the jade platform and had the highest requirements. Currently, no one had reached here. Then, every 1,000 meters outward, there were more meditation cushions, with the requirements decreasing accordingly, and the positions getting higher. There were a total of 20 layers, dividing soul strength into 20 levels. Lin Moyu observed for a while and roughly understood the specific divisions. From the first to the third layer, no one was seated. Starting from the fourth layer, there were already God Sovereigns seated. That was a high-level God Sovereign. On the fifth layer sat a sixth-stage God Sovereign. The further out, the lower the realm. Each stage of the God Sovereign realm had a significant difference in strength, making it hard to surpass. From the 11th layer onward, there were lesser God Sovereigns, and further out were God Kings. Interesting, each layer is a division, clearly distinct. Lin Moyu's eyes sparkled slightly. Such precise control over soul division was not something an ordinary formation could achieve. Lin Moyu felt the power of rules and runes from the formation, likely composed of runes and set up by a Bian realm expert. Is it a formation set up by the Lin family ancestor? Lin Moyu thought, stepping forward. He was already attracting attention, and many people in the Dao field were secretly watching him. Lin Moyu had cultivated for a very short time, reaching the lesser God Sovereign realm so quickly. Many people thought his foundation was unstable, that his realm had advanced, but his soul was not strong. Soul improvement is much harder than cultivation improvement. They also wanted to see how far Lin Moyu could go. He's a lesser God Sovereign, he should be able to reach the 11th layer. Shouldn't be a problem. I've heard his combat power is very strong, so his soul shouldn't be weak. The 11th layer is definitely not a problem. I think he should be able to reach the 10th layer. Hard to say. The 10th layer is the domain of God Sovereigns. Didn't you see? There isn't a single lesser God Sovereign in the 10th layer. Reaching the 11th layer is normal. If he can't even reach the 11th layer, it would be disappointing. Many people's gazes were complex. Those who supported Lin Moyu hoped he could go far. Those who were jealous of Lin Moyu hoped he wouldn't make it, preferably not even reaching the 11th layer. Human hearts are subtle, and everyone has their own thoughts. Lin Moyu heard the voices around him and couldn't help but smile. He didn't care about such comments. A dragon doesn't care about the opinions of ants. Lin Moyu walked slowly, moving through the faint mist, passing one layer after another, gradually approaching the jade platform. In the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu was about to reach the 12th layer. The Eye of the Soul had long been opened, and he was also carefully sensing the formation. So far, he hadn't felt any pressure. He's reached the 12th layer. He's walking steadily, without any pressure. It seems reaching the 11th layer is not a problem. Under everyone's gaze, Lin Moyu smoothly passed the 12th layer and entered the 11th layer. The 11th layer belonged to the Lesser God Sovereigns, which was Lin Moyu's current revealed realm. After entering the 11th layer, Lin Moyu didn't stop but continued forward. He's still moving forward. He's going to the 10th layer. The 10th layer belongs to the God Sovereigns. No Lesser God Sovereign has entered it yet. It seems Lin Moyu is very confident in his soul. I wonder if his soul has reached the 4th grade. We'll see. If his soul hasn't reached the 4th grade, he'll definitely be thrown back. Some people had cold smiles, wanting to see Lin Moyu get thrown back. Seeing others fail, especially geniuses, always satisfied their vanity. They would say, even geniuses can't do it, so it's normal that I can't. Under the watchful eyes of tens of thousands, Lin Moyu steadily passed the 11th layer and officially stepped into the 10th layer. This step was easy and casual for Lin Moyu. But for some people, it was like a thunderbolt. They felt as if Lin Moyu had slapped them in the face, burning with pain. Lin Moyu stepped into the 10th layer, standing shoulder to shoulder with the God Sovereigns. A God Sovereign looked over with a kind smile. Young man, very good. Your soul has reached the 4th grade early. Truly entering the God Sovereign realm shouldn't be far off. Lin Moyu stopped, bowed slightly. Thank you, senior. I still have a long way to go. The God Sovereign chuckled, very humble. Humility is good, but sometimes there's no need to be overly humble. Come, sit. This is a seat earned by your strength. Lin Moyu nodded. Thank you for the lesson, senior. But I still want to try going a bit further. Saying this, Lin Moyu continued forward, still walking steadily. The God Sovereign who had just praised Lin Moyu said in a deep voice, young man, sometimes taking a loss isn't a bad thing. At least you'll know your limits. Gradually, his expression changed. Lin Moyu was getting closer to the 9th layer, walking lightly, without any pressure. Could his soul be stronger than mine? His voice carried a hint of disbelief. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Lin Moyu stepped into the 9th layer. The 9th layer is the domain of 2nd stage God Sovereigns. As Lin Moyu stepped into it, he immediately attracted the attention of several 2nd stage God Sovereigns. Their gazes held no malice, only admiration for Lin Moyu. Having cultivated for thousands of years, the jealousy among God Sovereigns had long been erased. They only had appreciation for outstanding juniors like Lin Moyu. Most God Sovereigns hoped for the emergence of strong and excellent successors within the human race. In their eyes, Lin Moyu, who was comparable to the war god, was such a successor. The more exceptional Lin Moyu was, the happier they were. Lin Moyu could clearly feel this, so he slightly bowed to them and then continued forward. No way, he's still moving forward. Beyond this is the 3rd stage of the God Sovereign realm. Is his soul really that strong? This is a true genius. When he becomes a God Sovereign, he will advance smoothly without any bottlenecks. Lin Moyu is incredibly strong. I wonder how far he can go. I think the 8th layer should be his limit. Even if he's a monster, there should be a limit. What if he's a monster among monsters? Lin Moyu absorbed the attention of almost everyone in the Dao field. Not only the God Kings, but even the God Sovereigns present were all focused on him. Even the high-level God Sovereign from the Lin family in the sky was looking down at him. Lin Moyu walked as if no one else was around, step by step. He easily passed the 8th layer. Next was the 7th layer, which also couldn't stop his steps. The God Sovereigns in the 6th layer stood up, as if welcoming his arrival. The God Sovereigns in the 6th layer were already at the 5th stage, not weak among God Sovereigns. Lin Moyu walked past the 6th layer under their watchful eyes and headed towards the 5th layer. He was getting closer and closer to the jade platform. The entire place was silent, and everyone stopped what they were doing. Millions of eyes were all fixed on Lin Moyu. Every pair of eyes was wide open, and their mouths were the same. Their eyes were filled with envy, excitement, shock, and fear. Lin Moyu walked into the 5th layer, officially stepping into the domain of 6th stage God Sovereigns. There were only 8 God Sovereigns in this layer. The 8 6th stage God Sovereigns all looked at Lin Moyu. Their gazes and expressions were extremely complex. Lin Moyu's ability to reach this point completely exceeded their expectations. Reaching this point meant that Lin Moyu's soul had already reached the mid-4th grade. At least before Lin Moyu reached the 6th stage of the God Sovereign realm, he wouldn't encounter any bottlenecks. They all knew some information about Lin Moyu. They knew that he was a young man not even 100 years old. Such an age had never appeared in the history of the human race. Even the blood-killing God Sovereign, who was about to give a lecture, was far less dazzling than Lin Moyu at a young age. However, the real shock was just beginning. Lin Moyu smiled at the few people in the 5th layer and then continued forward. This gave them a creepy feeling. Is he going to the 6th layer? If he succeeds, that means his soul is at the high 4th grade, which is terrifying. How did he do it? Even if someone said he received an ancient inheritance, it wouldn't be to this extent. Do you think he could be an ancient power in disguise? Impossible. Do you think the human emperor network is fake? They couldn't explain it. Lin Moyu's existence was beyond their understanding. In fact, it wasn't just them. Zhu Qiwu and later Holy Sovereign Hao had similar doubts. Lin Moyu walked into the 4th layer without changing his expression. In the 4th layer, there were only 3 high-level God Sovereigns. High-level God Sovereigns, 7th-stage God Sovereigns, were completely different from the previous ones. They unconsciously exuded pressure, with a trace of the power of rules entwined around them. Lin Moyu stopped and opened the Eye of the Soul. Here, he could more clearly understand and examine the entire formation. The core of the formation was the jade platform several thousand meters away. He finally stopped. He's standing shoulder to shoulder with high-level God Sovereigns. His soul has reached this level. The rumors are true. Lin Moyu is really strong. I wonder if the War God was at this level at his age. Why don't you go to the War God Hall and ask? I'd be beaten to death. A few seconds later, Lin Moyu reopened his eyes. He still couldn't fully understand the formation, but he was 60% sure it was created by a Bian realm expert. Lin Moyu nodded slightly to the high-level God Sovereigns. The God Sovereigns felt a faint illusion, as if they were being acknowledged by Lin Moyu. It seemed their statuses had reversed. Moreover, the pressure emanating from Lin Moyu seemed stronger than theirs. This was because Lin Moyu had opened the Eye of the Soul, and the pressure of a Bian realm soul was leaking out. Just when everyone thought Lin Moyu was going to find a place to sit, he moved again, continuing forward. At this moment, the place was silent, and even a pin drop could be heard. Those who had been talking earlier now closed their mouths and even stopped breathing. They were witnessing a miracle, an unprecedented miracle. Lin Moyu walked to the 3rd layer as easily as drinking water. There was no one in the 3rd layer. This was supposed to be the area for 8th-stage God Sovereigns, but now it welcomed a lesser God Sovereign. Lin Moyu stayed for a few seconds, feeling the aura here. At this moment, no one dared to be sure he would stop here. Instead, they were all guessing if he would continue forward. A few seconds later, Lin Moyu indeed moved again. The 2nd layer belonged to peak God Sovereigns, the 9th stage of the God Sovereign realm. Lin Moyu's actions told the world how strong his soul was. Lin Moyu stopped again, this time for longer than before, standing still for a full minute. He should stop now. But he hasn't sat down, so he might continue. This is already the peak God Sovereign level. Beyond this, what is the 1st layer? I don't know. I don't know what the 1st layer is. The God Kings had limited knowledge and didn't understand the significance. But the God Sovereigns knew what the 1st layer meant. It meant the birth of a jade soul, a crucial step towards the Bian realm. If one soul couldn't take this step, the Bian realm would remain a dream. The God Sovereigns were also getting nervous. They wanted to know if Lin Moyu could reach the 1st layer. They knew very well that the Bian realm was the pinnacle combat power of a race. If they could gain one more Bian realm, it would be more valuable than 1,000 peak God Sovereigns. Lin Moyu stood in the 2nd layer for a full 10 minutes before slowly opening his eyes. So it's an ancient talisman related to the soul. Unfortunately, it's still incomplete. Using it as the core of the formation is fine, but it has no other significant use. However, the person who set up this formation has a deep understanding of formations. Could it be a Bian realm expert who entered the Tao through formations? Yuzhu loves formations. If he could be taught by this expert, he might truly enter the Tao of formations. Lin Moyu smiled slightly and, under everyone's gaze, took another step forward. He moved again. He can really enter the 1st layer. The birth of a jade soul. His soul is at the level of a jade soul. The God Sovereigns were extremely excited. The birth of a jade soul meant that, given time, Lin Moyu would become a Bian realm expert. And this time might not be long, a few hundred years would be enough. A Bian realm expert at a few hundred years old could even become a holy sovereign. A great fortune for the human race. A great fortune for our human race. The god sovereigns were extremely excited, their entire bodies trembling. Lin Moyu steadily stepped into the first layer, then casually found a meditation cushion and sat cross-legged. The entire movement was natural and effortless, without any sign of pressure. In fact, it was indeed so. The first layer corresponds to the peak of the fourth-grade soul realm, the realm of the jade soul turning purple. But he had long been at the fifth-grade soul realm of the Bian realm, and had even made progress within the fifth-grade soul realm. With his level of soul, if he felt pressure here, that would be truly strange. Lin Moyu sat down as if no one else was present, and indeed, there was no one else. Between the first and third layers, he was the only one. Lin Moyu's action stunned everyone. The god sovereigns, with excited hearts, also slowly sat down. After all, they were god sovereigns, with good composure, and quickly calmed down. In the sky, the high-level god sovereign from the Lin family also looked at Lin Moyu with a complex expression. Finally, he sighed softly and couldn't help but exclaim, "The younger generation will surpass us." He calculated the time and then loudly announced to the Dao field, "The lecture is about to begin. Please take your seats and remain silent." The god kings quickly found suitable seats, and within just 10 minutes, the entire Dao field became silent again. Lin Moyu felt a powerful force approaching from beyond the stars. This force was majestic, carrying the power of rules. It's not a peak god sovereign. This is the power of the Bian realm. Could the blood-killing god sovereign have stepped into the Bian realm? No, although it feels like the Bian realm, it's not pure. It's very strange. Lin Moyu's soul was very sensitive and could sense the peculiarity of this force. He had seen the Bian realm before, and he had also seen Zhu Qiwu's half-step Bian realm. From Zhu Qiwu's initial breakthrough to his later journey on the Blood Road, Lin Moyu had been present. Lin Moyu was very familiar with the changes from a peak god sovereign to the Bian realm. The person approaching was neither a peak god sovereign nor a Bian realm, which felt very strange to him, something he had never seen before. With curiosity, he looked towards the sky. His gaze crossed millions of miles of void, seeing a person approaching at an astonishing speed. The speed surpassed that of a peak god sovereign, like teleportation, crossing millions of kilometers in an instant and appearing above the Dao field. He was dressed in a blood-red robe, exuding a strong killing intent. The moment he descended, everyone felt as if they were in a sea of blood. The sky turned crimson, and the thick smell of blood reached their souls, making it useless to block their sense of smell. Affected by the sea of blood, an endless killing intent rose in their hearts, making them want to take up their weapons and kill the people around them. It wasn't until the blood-killing god sovereign sat on the jade platform and let out a light cough that all the illusions disappeared in an instant. The world returned to clarity, and the sun and moon reappeared. Many god kings were drenched in sweat, their hearts trembling. They had almost started fighting. This is the blood-killing god sovereign, truly terrifying. This is the power of a peak god sovereign? What kind of existence is the blood-killing Dao? Too terrifying, really too terrifying. Everyone was filled with lingering fear, not even daring to look at the blood-killing god sovereign. At this moment, Lin Moyu understood why those with weak souls had to be excluded. They simply couldn't withstand the natural killing intent of the blood-killing god sovereign and could easily turn into madmen who only knew how to kill, or even have their souls collapse and die on the spot. Lin Moyu looked at the blood-killing god sovereign and vaguely felt that something was wrong with his state. The killing intent just now was not intentional but uncontrollable. But now, he had controlled his killing intent again, which was very strange. The blood-killing god sovereign also looked at Lin Moyu, with some surprise in his eyes. Lin Moyu's ability to sit in the first layer indicated that his soul had reached the level of the jade soul turning purple, but Lin Moyu's strength was only that of a lesser god sovereign. This strong contrast made him equally curious about Lin Moyu. Their gazes briefly met, and they nodded slightly, as if greeting each other. Then, the blood-killing god sovereign loudly announced, "The lecture begins. Keep your minds focused. If you can't hold on, you may stand up, and someone will escort you out of the Dao field." His voice was clear, without any killing intent, completely different from before. The Lin family members were already prepared in the air. If someone stood up, they would escort them out of the Dao field. My Dao is the blood-killing Dao, suitable only for me and useless to others. Therefore, this lecture is about the great Dao, about finding one's own Dao, not about others' Dao. Everyone has their own Dao, What is Tao? Above the laws, below the laws, all are Tao. The Blood-Killing God Sovereign's lecture was not about specific laws or cultivation methods but about something more profound, the Tao. What is Tao? Tao heart, will, the path of cultivation, all are Tao. How to find one's own Tao and walk a path different from others, this is the correct way of cultivation. In the Blood-Killing God Sovereign's lecture, finding the Tao can start from the God King realm, but truly walking the Tao requires at least the God Sovereign realm. The Blood-Killing God Sovereign's words were like golden lotuses, and many people were deeply engrossed. The laws on their bodies surged as they tried to find their own Tao. Those still in the God King realm might not find it, but they could think and try. Cultivation, if only following the old paths of predecessors, would have a limited end. Only by walking one's own path can one reach higher places. Lin Moyu listened to the Blood-Killing God Sovereign's lecture. He had his own understanding of the Tao and had long determined his own path. Mutual verification allowed Lin Moyu to think more deeply and meticulously. Lin Moyu also closed his eyes, not immersing himself in the Blood-Killing God Sovereign's Tao but thinking about the path he would take next. Gradually, a faint smell of blood entered his soul. The smell of blood grew stronger, from faint to overwhelming in an instant. Opening his eyes, Lin Moyu saw a sea of blood. Unknowingly, the entire Tao field had turned into a sea of blood. The Blood-Killing God Sovereign sat on the jade platform, becoming the center of the sea of blood. The Blood-Killing God Sovereign was fully immersed in his lecture, seemingly unaware that he had turned the entire Tao field into a sea of blood. Those engrossed in the lecture were also unaware of the transformation. The further from the Blood-Killing God Sovereign, the weaker the power of the sea of blood. Otherwise, ordinary God Kings couldn't withstand the power of the sea of blood, and their souls would be directly eroded. But some were awakened, exclaiming in surprise and instinctively standing up. As soon as they stood up, they were sent out of the sea of blood by the prepared Lin family members, who escorted them out of the Tao field. The longer the lecture, the greater the pressure. When one couldn't bear it, the Blood-Killing God Sovereign would send them away. If one felt they couldn't bear it, they could also stand up and be sent away. Lin Moyu felt the power of rules in the sea of blood. It seems the Blood-Killing God Sovereign has precise control over his power. But what happened earlier? Could it have been intentional? Lin Moyu thought it unlikely to be intentional. There must be a reason. He focused on listening to the lecture while also paying attention to the Blood-Killing God Sovereign. Soon, Lin Moyu noticed that the Blood-Killing God Sovereign's brows would occasionally furrow. Each time he frowned, a killing intent would leak out. It was a real killing intent, cold and merciless, meant to kill. The Blood-Killing God Sovereign seemed to be trying hard to control his killing intent, but sometimes he couldn't. Indeed, there is a problem. Lin Moyu confirmed that Blood-Killing God Lord definitely had issues. He opened his soul eyes again, and this time he saw faint lines extending from various cultivators and connecting to Blood-Killing God Lord. These lines were very weak, barely visible even using all his soul power. They flickered in and out of existence, difficult to see clearly. What are these? Not belief power, not law power either. Is this why Blood-Killing God Lord is giving a lecture? What use are these things to him? Lin Moyu also discovered that he himself had a line connecting to Blood-Killing God Lord. Ordinary people couldn't detect these lines. Even peak God Lords couldn't see them, not even with Jade Soul Purple. Only by truly reaching 5th grade soul and opening soul eyes could one see these lines. He reached out to try grasping the line, but his hand passed right through it. The line existed between reality and illusion, similar to law lines but different. What exactly is this? Puzzled, he extended his soul power like a large hand. The moment his soul power touched the line, Lin Moyu's whole body trembled and visions flashed before his eyes. Countless fragmented scenes flashed by. A sea of blood, red lines, shattered starry skies, powerful beings battling. The scenes were chaotic, flashing by in an instant. Others wouldn't be able to make sense of it, but Lin Moyu understood. The red lines came from the Black Blood Great Realm. The Blood Sea belonged to an ancient expert from a great world. The ancient expert controlling the Blood Sea fought fiercely with the invader from the Black Blood Great Realm, ultimately perishing together. The invader's body exploded into countless bloodlines that merged into the Blood Sea. The Blood Sea eventually evolved into a legacy that Blood-Killing God Lord obtained thousands of years ago. This legacy was called the Blood Sea, not the blood-devouring law as rumored. Blood-Killing God Lord gained incredible battle power from this, rising meteorically. But he didn't realize the Blood Sea legacy also contained the terrifying will of the Black Blood Great Realm invader. This will erupted after Blood-Killing God Lord forcibly raised his realm using secret techniques. It began invading his soul, trying to turn him into a mindless killing machine. But Bloodkilling Godlord was already accustomed to killing and controlled the killing law himself, so he could resist. In the end, Bloodkilling Godlord fused his killing law with the Bloodsea legacy to form the Bloodkilling Way. However, the bloodlines of the Black Blood Great Realm Invader still existed, still eroding his soul. Bloodkilling Godlord had been resisting for thousands of years, but was gradually losing ground. It was because of these bloodlines that Bloodkilling Godlord couldn't enter the Other Shore. Without the bloodlines, he would have become an Other Shore expert long ago. Now he had one foot in the Other Shore realm, but couldn't bring the other foot in. And he could still be eroded by the bloodlines, losing his reason and becoming a mindless killing machine. If that happened, even if Other Shore experts intervened, it would be a disaster. Nearby star systems would be destroyed, with countless casualties. Lin Moyu looked at Bloodkilling Godlord, his eyes flashing with complex emotions. The Bloodsea began churning. To others, Bloodkilling Godlord was still lecturing. But to Lin Moyu, Bloodkilling Godlord had stopped lecturing. In his vision, Bloodkilling Godlord was also looking at him, with slight confusion in his gaze. "Young man, do you want to kill me?" Bloodkilling Godlord was very sensitive to killing intent. He had detected the slight killing intent that flashed through Lin Moyu's mind earlier. Lin Moyu didn't deny it. "Your soul may be eroded." Bloodkilling Godlord was stunned, then his eyes showed shock. "You can see the causality lines?" So those lines were called causality lines. It was through these causality lines that Lin Moyu saw the cause and effect. Causality law. Lin Moyu suddenly understood what these lines represented, the causality law. Years ago, an ancient Buddha from the Buddha race had used the causality law to strike at him. That palm strike traversed endless space from the Buddha lands to the battlefield, nearly killing him. Zhu Tian had also used the causality law to confirm it was Lin Moyu who killed empty-hearing Buddha. The mysteriousness of the causality law was evident. Among first-tier laws, the ranking of the causality law was undefined. Like the fate law, it may not have powerful offensive abilities, but it was an incredibly miraculous existence. Faced with Lin Moyu's silence, Bloodkilling Godlord suddenly smiled. "Please wait a moment, young friend. Let me finish the lecture, then I'll explain to you." Lin Moyu nodded. "All right." Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry to act. If he really wanted to eliminate Bloodkilling Godlord, he could do so at any time. He still had the scales of the Abyss Dragon Demon. Using them to perform corpse explosion would be enough to kill an Other Shore expert, let alone Bloodkilling Godlord who only had one foot in the Other Shore. Bloodkilling Godlord had made many contributions to humanity and was a hero. Lin Moyu couldn't act rashly against him. Lin Moyu activated the Human Emperor Network and reported Bloodkilling Godlord's situation to How Holy Lord, wanting to get an answer from him. Just a minute later, he received How Holy Lord's reply. "Wait for me to come." How Holy Lord was actually coming personally, but Lin Moyu also heard other implications. How Holy Lord clearly knew about this matter, as he should. Under the Human Emperor Network, nothing could be hidden from them. Moreover, the Lin family also had Other Shore experts. Bloodkilling Godlord's lecture continued. As the power of the Bloodsea accumulated, more and more God Kings couldn't withstand it and were forced to leave. But their eyes were all excited, having gained greatly from Bloodkilling Godlord's lecture. A day later, the lecture ended. The Bloodsea receded like the tide, returning to Bloodkilling Godlord's body. Bloodkilling Godlord said loudly, "This lecture ends here." His voice was like the morning bell, awakening those remaining in the lecture hall. Of the million who came to listen, less than 100,000 remained until the end. 90% of cultivators left halfway. Those who stayed all had at least high third-grade souls. Everyone stood and bowed to Bloodkilling Godlord. "Thank you, Bloodkilling Godlord, for imparting knowledge." Bloodkilling Godlord accepted graciously. "I wish all junior brothers success in your cultivation." Soon, the lecture hall emptied. Only Lin Moyu remained on the first level, with Bloodkilling Godlord on the jade platform. Lin Moyu smiled. "You can explain now." Bloodkilling Godlord didn't answer directly. "It's a long story. Would you be willing to come with me to the Lin family and listen to me explain slowly?" Lin Moyu nodded slightly. "All right." The two flew from the lecture hall towards the Lin family. The Lin family was located on the number 1 star of the main star system, not far from the number 2 star. The entire number 1 star belonged to the Lin family. Halfway there, Bloodkilling Godlord smiled and said, "Young Lin is an extraordinary talent. I've long heard about you. Seeing you today, I realize what people say is far from enough. Your talent far exceeds the rumors." Lin Moyu's ability to see and touch the causality lines, understanding the cause and effect within, clearly showed his soul had reached the other shore level. As long as nothing went wrong, his achievement of the other shore was certain. Lin Moyu smiled. "You're too kind, senior." Blood-killing God Lord's eyes held a hint of envy. "Young Lin, do you have questions about those scenes you saw earlier?" Lin Moyu nodded slightly. "Indeed, I have some doubts. The power of the Black Blood Great Realm invaders is very strange and unpredictable. I greatly admire Senior's ability to resist it for thousands of years." Blood-killing God Lord heard something different in Lin Moyu's words. Lin Moyu still had thoughts of killing him. A smile appeared on his lips. "Does young friend think you have the ability to kill me?" Lin Moyu frankly admitted, "Yes." Blood-killing God Lord laughed heartily. "It seems young friend really has the means. If I can't give a reasonable explanation, I fear my life may be in danger today." Lin Moyu also smiled and said, "I believe Senior Bloodkilling will certainly be able to give a reasonable explanation." Blood-killing God Lord nodded. "Of course. If I couldn't explain it, I would have killed myself long ago, without waiting for young friend to do it." The two soon entered the number 1 star and entered the Lin family. Although the Lin family had over 100,000 people and was a huge family, they owned the entire star, so there was more than enough land to divide. On the star, buildings of various styles were scattered across the land. There were manors, high-rises, wooden cabins and steel houses. Some were in fields, some in forests, and some were built directly on water. There were even houses floating in the air. Blood-killing God Lord explained, "Our Lin family's rules are actually not strict. Everyone can have their own personality and build their residence according to their preferences." "I can see that," Lin Moyu responded, while surveying the entire star. From afar, he sensed an unusual aura. His gaze looked into the distance at a tall mountain. "What's behind that mountain?" Blood-killing God Lord smiled. "Young Lin's perception is indeed keen. That place is special. After I explain my situation clearly, perhaps I can take young Lin to see it." Blood-killing God Lord brought Lin Moyu to a lake. This lake had a diameter of over 1,000 kilometers, almost like an ocean. The entire lake surface was blood-colored, and faintly emitted a blood-killing intent. In the center of the lake was a small island with a manor where Blood-killing God Lord lived. Lin Moyu could sense that there was no one else on the island. Not just people, there wasn't even a single animal. Not just on the island, but in the 1,000-kilometer lake below, there were no living beings either. This was a dead zone. Blood-killing God Lord landed in the center of the manor. "Please wait a moment, young Lin. I have some things to deal with." As he spoke, he slapped his own body. His whole body groaned, and at the same time several 10,000-meter waves surged from the lake. Blood rain fell from the sky, creating an extremely bizarre scene. "Get out." Blood-killing God Lord forcibly dug out a piece of flesh from his own body, then threw it into the sky. The flesh exploded in the sky, merging with the blood rain and falling into the lake. Blood-killing God Lord's chest was missing a piece of flesh, but strangely no blood flowed out. The wound was healing at a visible speed, with new flesh growing out in the blink of an eye. For someone at his level, flesh regeneration was a simple matter. As this piece of flesh was removed, Blood-killing God Lord's aura quickly became peaceful. At this moment, he was like a kind-looking old man, the last trace of killing intent completely disappearing from his eyes. Lin Moyu's gaze narrowed slightly. When Blood-killing God Lord dug out his own flesh, Lin Moyu saw a magical treasure inside his body. This treasure was shaped like a small gourd, with countless causality lines wrapped around it. After finishing all this, Blood-killing God Lord finally breathed a sigh of relief, then walked to a nearby tea table, took out tea utensils, and began brewing tea. While brewing tea, he said, "Did young Lin see it? The thing inside me is called a causality gourd. This causality gourd has no other use, it just helps me resist the erosion of the bloodlines. It's because of this that I've been able to maintain my sanity for so many years and not become a monster that only knows how to kill. But where there's cause there's effect. It's also because of it that I can't truly step into the other shore." Blood-killing God Lord explained in detail, finally making Lin Moyu understand everything. The causality gourd was a special magical treasure that could resolve cause and effect. In Blood-killing God Lord's explanation, obtaining the Blood Sea legacy was the cause, and being eroded by bloodlines and losing sanity was the effect. Once cause and effect are formed, the outcome is very difficult to change. If Blood-killing God Lord had been at the other shore realm at that time, perhaps he could have forcibly reversed the cause and effect. But he was only a God Lord then. As he cultivated the Blood Sea legacy, the bloodlines also imperceptibly eroded his soul. This also led to a period later when Blood-killing God Lord's killing intent became heavier and heavier. At the time he didn't know about this situation, until that battle in the White Tiger Star region where he single-handedly killed 3 peak god lords from the Silver Race and forcibly raised his realm. He was severely injured in that battle. The erosion of the bloodlines also fully erupted at that moment. At that time he had no power to resist. If nothing unexpected happened, he would have become a monster that only knew how to kill, a monster with peak god lord combat power. Fortunately, the Lin family ancestor arrived in time and controlled him. Later How Holy Lord also came and brought a magical treasure, the causality gourd. The causality gourd couldn't cure his injuries or expel the bloodlines, but it could change cause and effect. The causality gourd absorbed 90% of the effect, leaving only 10% for Bloodkilling god lord. As a result, the erosive power of the bloodlines was reduced by a full 90%. The 10% erosive power was still within Bloodkilling god lord's endurance. He survived. According to How Holy Lord, as long as Bloodkilling god lord could reach the other shore, he could exert the full power of the causality gourd and truly resolve all effects. After thousands of years of cultivation, Bloodkilling god lord finally had one foot in the other shore. But he also found that he couldn't bring the other foot across. After analysis, it was determined that this was also because of the causality gourd. Similarly with cause and effect, the causality gourd saving Bloodkilling god lord was the cause, and preventing Bloodkilling god lord from entering the other shore was the effect. So this became an unsolvable problem. Bloodkilling god lord gave lectures to replenish power for the causality gourd. The power of the causality gourd was not endless and also needed replenishment. What it needed was causality power. Listening to Bloodkilling god lord's lecture was the cause, and the causality gourd gaining power was the effect. Those causality lines were the causality power obtained by the causality gourd. Lin Moyu's gaze showed contemplation, as if thinking whether Bloodkilling god lord's words were true or false. Actually Lin Moyu already believed Bloodkilling god lord, because Bloodkilling god lord mentioned How Holy Lord. Combined with How Holy Lord's previous answer, there was no need to doubt. What Lin Moyu was thinking now was whether there was a way to help Bloodkilling god lord eliminate the bloodlines. That way the human race could gain another powerful othershore expert. His soul sensed 2 enormous auras, one of which he was very familiar with. Lin Moyu smiled and said, How Holy Lord has arrived. Bloodkilling god lord was slightly stunned. Why would the Holy Lord come? I called him here. Bloodkilling god lord looked surprised. Young Lin even knows the Holy Lord, truly promising at such a young age. Lin Moyu felt that the Bloodkilling god lord before him was different from the one in legendary stories. In the stories, Bloodkilling god lord had overwhelming killing intent, killing wherever he went, even making his own people feel fear when they saw him. But the Bloodkilling god lord before him, apart from his blood-colored clothes that looked a bit eye-catching, was like a harmless old man, even kind-looking. The space around them distorted slightly, and How Holy Lord and the Lin family ancestor appeared on the island.